Hey, welcome back to the channel, and this is my review of South Africa versus England in the World Cup semi-final. A great start from England. They get some early possession and put the phases together. Peter Steph gives away a penalty and Farrell slots it for an early lead, and it's 3-0. England go to the A early on. They get some change out of it as well, particularly with Stewart and Daly, and they're both looking very good. Very aggressively competing for the ball, and yeah, it's serving England well. Unfortunately for South Africa, their line-out is really not functioning well, and at one point they opt for the scrum rather than the line-out, so that says it all really. So I'm not sure what's gone wrong there, but something has, and that's not what they want in the semi-final. England are kicking off 9 a lot, and Mitchell is having a good game with the boot so far. They get downfield, and you're just thinking this is a great attacking position for England, and what can they do here? Yeah, they do get a penalty, this time Kolisi, and again it's slotted by Farrell, so an early 6-point lead for England. South Africa finally get a bit of momentum. They get a couple of penalties, they kick it to the corner, but the driving line-out maul defence is very good from England, and they're not getting much change out of it at all. There's a bit of niggle, a bit of afters, and England perhaps foolishly reversed the penalty, and it gets South Africa another chance for the line out. It doesn't pay off this time, but they're going to have to keep their discipline like under wraps, because there's already warning signs for them. Scrum penalty goes against South Africa, which was a little bit surprising. So the old boys in the England front row did their job definitely when they were on. So the momentum is firmly in England's camp, and South Africa are going to have to pull their finger out and really start playing now, because yeah, they've been under the pump a little bit. 6-0 lead, but you know, if England could score tries, it would have been a bit more. Farrell, with a little bit of petulance, gives the referee a bit of back chat, and he marches him 10 yards down the field, and yeah, that's kind of unusual these days. But as a result, Libbok gets a shot of goal, kicks it, and South Africa have their first points on the board, and it's 6-3. England's defence looks fired up, and they're forcing the penalties from South Africa, which is kind of unusual. They get another 3 points, and it's 9-3. And just in terms of the crowd is definitely holding a grudge against South Africa for putting out the host nation last time around in the quarterfinals. Yeah, and it's going to be a long old day for South Africa, so yeah, going to be a test you can see early on. The ball is very slippery, wet conditions, and yeah, South Africa making a few mistakes, and England have the advantage. So at this early point in the match, they decide to take Libbok off and put Pollard on. So that's a big call early on from the coaching staff for South Africa. Curry also goes off, but this time for a blood replacement. He's been leaking claret all match. So he finally goes off to get it like stitched up or whatever they have to do. And Vinopola comes on. He makes a couple of early handling errors. And South Africa actually now starting to apply a little bit of pressure to the England defence, and they get a penalty out of it. And Pollard gets his first points of this match, and it's 9-6. Just before halftime, you can sense it's like a real arm wrestle. I'm not sure which team is going to come out on top. I would say a rather questionable penalty given against South Africa after Colby takes a high ball. But Farrell maintains his 100% record and kicks it, and it's 12-6 going into halftime. So everything seems to be going against the South Africans in this first half. Things are just swinging in England's favour. The weather, the crowd, South Africa's line-out is like not functioning at all. Laws is being a nuisance all around the park, and Mitchell is kicking well from 9. So England are looking pretty good going into the second half, and they take the lead in with them, which I don't think many people would have picked. However, for South Africa, with Pollard coming on, they seem to have settled down a little bit after a bit of an erratic first 20. When he came on, he definitely settled down the back line and was talking to the forwards and the 9 as well. So you just feel like at this point they need a little bit of a spark from somewhere just to ignite them and get them going. So let's see what the second half holds. Early on into the second half, Faf comes on, and now you've got Faf and Pollard, two very big game players, playing at 9 and 10 for South Africa, and surely that's going to serve them well for the remainder of this match. England pick up where they left off, and they're on the attack. Some good kicking again to get them territory, and the game is progressing at a snail's pace, which will suit England perfectly. And South Africa empty the bench eventually, and all their big guns come on. So let's see what they can do now. With the England substitutions, finally South Africa gets some pressure on the scrum. Comes out to Pollard. He puts a little dink over to Colby, who does well, good skill set to put an infield kick in. Willie Leroux almost picks it up and goes over, but decides to kick it on. But it doesn't work out. But some promising signs now for South Africa. They're actually putting some decent play together. England respond by bringing on a few of their own substitutions, but out of nowhere really. As soon as England get down into the South African half, Farrell from, I think it's like the base of a ruck, strikes a beautiful drop goal over. It's a really nice one, and it's 15-6 now with 53 minutes gone, and looking good for England. So Stewart under the high ball is having an absolute cracker, and he's made some yards going forward too. And South Africa getting no change out of him, and England are really playing to their strengths, and South Africa don't really seem to be able to change the game, the pace of the tempo of the game. There's a lot of factors involved in that, but at the moment it's really being played exactly how England wanted to be played. So with 20 minutes to go, the referee has enough of the water boys coming on. They're not boys after them, are coaches, and it gives them a warning, so like a yellow card warning for the water boys. So I've never seen that before. So that was a pretty interesting turn of events, and Farrell actually has to go and speak to the England bench and say, look, you got to stop it, the ref has had enough. But first time I've seen that. South Africa do put some good phases together, but off a high kick, Johnny May absolutely smashes Colby and then turns the ball over. And you're thinking now, like, South Africa trying to get back in the game, but can England actually do this? Like, no one would have picked it before the match, but they're in prime position now. South Africa get another scrum penalty, and Pollard puts a beautiful touch finder in, gives South Africa a fantastic attacking opportunity, and this time they actually get the line out right. Fourie, who's come on in the back row, blasts up and attacks the England defence. Maybe he's gone too far, but no, they retain the ball. Then it's spun out to Simon, who's come on, and his big 6'9" frame wriggles over and he plops it down over the line, and South Africa get the first try of the match. It's kicked and it's 15-13, so game on, and not long to go now on the clock. So it's been a nail biter all through the game, but it's even more so now. There's 2 points in it and 10 minutes to go, and it's time to dig deep for both teams. Let's see who wants it more. There are a couple of marks called by South Africa. England are kicking it deep now. Eventually they do the ploy that they've become famous for in this World Cup, is scoring a scrum or opting for the scrum off a mark. Big call, oof, this is going to be a big one, and it does work out for them, and they get some good territory from it. From the resulting scrum, South Africa get a scrum penalty. I had a feeling that the game would be decided by scrum penalties, and it proved to be the case. Pollard steps up. You're wondering, is he still got it? Is he still got the magic? But absolutely dissects the posts right down the middle. And me as a Welsh supporter, I'm getting flashbacks to the last World Cup. I was at that game actually, and watched that kick go over. That's what he does, man. He's that kind of player. So South Africa go into the lead for the first time in the match. So with 1 point in it, England have a last hurrah. They attack, they put some phases together, and they try to test the South African discipline. Any penalty at this point could be curtains for them. Eventually they make a handling error, and that's it. That's all she wrote. South Africa get through a very tight game again, and they go through to the final by 1 point. Yeah, and that's it. So in summary, I think England really tried to play to their strengths, which is fair play to them. I mean, you can't complain about that. That's the type of game they're designed for, and they actually executed it very well. I think the South Africans were rattled a little bit by the enthusiasm and commitment of the England team. I will say, like Razi and the coaches, they made substitutions when they needed to be made. They didn't wait. They understood what was going on, and they tried their best to turn the game in their favour. It worked somewhat, but the conditions didn't help them at all. Their line out didn't work, which was kind of a travesty for them. Such a strong aspect of their game usually. But yeah, of course, England can hold their heads proud. They've been through a lot these last 6 months, a year. And they performed very well on a big stage. South Africa will have to have a little bit of a look at themselves, I think, but particularly a couple of their players. But yeah, they're into the final. So now the old enemy, New Zealand, in the final. What a great game that is going to be. So a lot of drama in this game. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think both teams, provided a good spectacle. Tough old game, but yeah, South Africa through. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next time, maybe for the final. All right, bye-bye.